Okay, so wanted to make this follow-up video to the video I did on discussing the Miz's promo on SmackDown, what Daniel Bryan said and stuff, and where I just discussed the Miz in general. Because there are some things that I wanted to say that I didn't get to say in that video because obviously my videos are on a limited time frame, so I wasn't able to say everything that I wanted to get out there. Um, so one thing I didn't address, well, I addressed it kind of quickly there at the end, but I was running out of time, but so Daniel Bryan brought up the fact that The Miz wrestles the soft style, the WWE style, and doesn't really you know do anything differently really, and really he doesn't. I mean it. I will say this: it was. I mean, it may have been kind of harsh. I mean, it was kind of harsh. Maybe it was kind of out of line for Daniel Bryan to say that, but it is kind of true, because the Miz's matches to me have always really been the same. I mean, he's never really tried to he's never really tried anything different. He's never really tried to add anything innovative, or he's never been innovative in his matches. He's never tried to switch up his moveset a little bit. I mean, other than changing his finisher from the reality check, the neck breaker thing he used to do to the skull crushing finale, and adding the figure four leg lock to his as his finisher. Other than that, he's never really tried to switch up his moveset at all. His matches have always been kind of the same, and given that he's very limited, I mean, there's that too, on top of all that, of him not really trying anything new in his matches. So, Daniel Bryan kind of had a point there, and that kind of set off The Miz, and that led to him cutting his promo about he loves the he said he could care less about children, well, the children that won the tag title, sorry. But he said he loves wrestling, and he loves the fans, and he loves this, and he said that Daniel Bryan didn't love it because he got injured, and he retired, and he left, so therefore Daniel Bryan doesn't really love wrestling, and he's a coward. First of all, the first time Daniel Bryan got injured, he did everything in his power to get back to wrestling again. Everything in his power. They even said that you may not be able to wrestle again, but Daniel Bryan still did everything in his power to get back to wrestling, and he did. Not for a long time because he got injured again, unfortunately, and plus the injuries that he had suffered prior kind of were still, they weren't completely gone. But yeah, he came back. He did a ton of exercise. I think it was like kickboxing exercise and that type of stuff. He had surgery, but even after that, he couldn't come back. So he did everything he could, various exercises and orders, so that he could come back to WWE to wrestle and be 100% again, or at least try to be. So he did everything in his power to come back to wrestling. And again, this may have been entirely scripted. This may be an entirely scripted promo, but in the chance that, or it might have been like a work shoot, but in the off chance that it wasn't, then this is what it's for. But yeah, so claiming that he claimed in this promo that Daniel Bryan doesn't love wrestling, that he doesn't care. Well, with what I just said, and the fact that Daniel Bryan, he came back. He came back to serve as the manager, the on-screen manager of SmackDown. So if he really didn't care so much, if he really didn't love wrestling so much, then why did he come back? Maybe because he didn't want to be away from it any longer, and if he could be around it in some form at least, then he would take it. So that's why he came back. And even if he hadn't come back, I still would have understood. It doesn't mean it still wouldn't have meant that he didn't love wrestling. He was losing. I mean, I think it said he was losing the feeling in one of his arms, and he had suffered like as much as I think 9 to 10 concussions, along with other shit that he had suffered from. So if he had continued to wrestle, and if he had gotten injured any more times, he could have been he could have gotten way more seriously injured than he already was. And it could have led to him being crippled, or it could have led to him just being completely not being able to function. And I don't want to see that happen to him. I didn't want to see that happen to him. So if he really did have to retire, then he should have retired. You know, because I don't want to see Daniel Bryan. I don't want to see the guy get permanently injured. So yeah, he retired. That's why Edge retired. Edge retired because of his neck and other things too. But I mean, he retired because of. I mean, if he kept going on, he could have gotten seriously injured too, permanently injured. Same reason why Daniel Bryan retired. It sucks that he had to retire, but he did. And in this promo, people, in promo, Miz said that, he left, and Miz says that he works day to day, week to week, and he's never been injured. Well, yeah, he's never been injured because, again, he always works he does the same thing in the ring that he's always done. He's never tried to do anything different. He's never tried to switch up his style, never did anything differently. So, of course, he's never going to get injured because he's always really played it safe. And you know what? As much as I don't care for him, at least like with John Cena, Cena has at least tried to do new stuff in the ring, like, doing the springboard stunner, Hurricane Rana, and, other stuff that you could mention. I mean, say what you will about the execution, but at least the effort's there, At least he tried to switch up his moveset a little bit and do some new things, And Cena's been doing this longer than The Miz, and he's had, well, he's been injured too, but he still tries to switch up his moveset. I mean, has The Miz really ever done that, aside from adding the figure 4 leg lock to his moveset? Really? Because I don't recall The Miz ever really trying anything new or trying to be a little more innovative with his ring work. I mean, it's not like he's 7 foot tall, Because, like, with bigger guys, I can understand, but, like, with guys the Miz's size, I mean, there's no reason why you can't switch up your ring style a little bit. So, yeah, no shit. Of course you haven't been injured because you don't really take a lot of risk. And, again, like I said in my last video, I'm not saying that that all wrestlers should take a ton of unnecessary risks. But, yeah, there's a reason why you've never been injured and shit like that. So, I mean, again, what Daniel Bryan said, it was kind of harsh. It may have been a little uncalled for, but it's kind of true. I mean, with Daniel Bryan, and look, this is coming from a guy who was not the biggest Daniel Bryan fan, because I wasn't the biggest Daniel Bryan fan. I thought the yes thing was kind of, in my opinion, I thought it was kind of dumb. I never really understood the whole yes thing. I never really understood, like, what everyone really, I never understood the appeal of it to everyone. I mean, Daniel Bryan himself was never my favorite wrestler of all time, but I can admit that the guy was really over with the crowd and that he was hot with the crowd, and I can admit that he was a great wrestler because I did enjoy his matches because they were good, because they were innovative, because he got in there and did stuff that not other wrestlers did, and I can appreciate that, and I really did enjoy his matches. He had a lot of great matches with guys like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, John Cena, Christian, other guys. I mean, he had a ton of great matches. I mean, every match that he had was at least decent, and it wasn't because someone had to carry him. It's because Daniel Bryan is just that good of a wrestler. With The Miz, at least for me, I've never seen a match from him that I would consider great or, excellent or a classic even. I would call some of The Miz's, some of Daniel Bryan's matches with CM Punk, like some of those matches, I would call them classics. I mean, they're not technically classics to, to a wider audience, but to me, I'd call some of those matches classics as far as like wrestling, as far as the actual wrestling goes, because they would go on there and they put on some damn good matches. With The Miz, I mean, maybe there's been a few matches of his where I thought they were maybe good or decent. But as far as going out there and just having an absolute great, like, 4-star, 5-star match, I've never really seen that out of The Miz. Again, this is all opinion-based, but I've never really seen it. So, Daniel Bryan, I mean, say what you will, but he kind of had, I mean, he's proved himself. So he was kind of, I mean he was kind of able to talk because I mean, Daniel Bryan, he still gets great reactions from the crowd. You know, when has Miz ever been as over as Daniel Bryan was? Really? I mean, really as over as Daniel Bryan was. When has he been that over? Or like as over as CM Punk was? Or going back further in the attitude, like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin. When has The Miz ever been that over? Really? When has he ever been that over? Never. I mean, not from what I can remember. Not really. And I would say they gave him the opportunity. They gave him several opportunities to get over, but he never really did. Maybe somewhat, but I don't remember him being like so over. I don't remember people chanting for The Miz when he wasn't there, or chanting, we want Miz or whatever. Nope, don't remember it. Sorry. Could be possible that I missed something, but I've never heard anyone say, "Oh my God, did you see that Miz match? Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that match that Miz was in? That was awesome. That was like a classic. Like, did you see that match?" Never read anything like that. Never heard anything like that with the Miz. So Daniel Bryan kind of had room to talk, because he's one of the most over wrestlers in the past few years. He's put on some of the greatest matches that there have been consistently when he was wrestling. And the reason he came back is probably because he didn't want to be away from it. He wanted to come back and be around it in some form. There's so many contradictions in the Miz's promo. There's so many contradictions, so many fucked up things. And I can't believe so many people are buying into it. I can't believe so many people think this guy deserves to be a main eventer, a world champion again. I just don't understand it. But that's just, again, maybe I'm full of shit, but I don't get it. And it's my opinion, so that's what matters. It's my opinion. Yeah, that's what matters. It's my opinion. It's not everyone else's opinion. If people like The Miz, if people think he deserves to be a main eventer, that's fine. That's their opinion. But this is my opinion, and I'm sticking by it. I'm not gonna jump on this yet another bandwagon. I'm not gonna jump onto it. I'm still not convinced. I'm still not impressed. Sorry. And in my opinion, I think Daniel Bryan had some room to talk. I don't think walking away, Daniel Bryan kind of got up and walked away. I don't think that really, in terms of character, if this was scripted, I don't think that really made him look the best. But still, I think Daniel Bryan had a good point. Even if it was a little harsh and out of line, he still had a good point. Still kind of true. So, yeah. But I guess that's really all I have to say. So I guess that's it for this video. This follow-up video on my first video on this topic. So, let me know what you think. Again, all my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't make me right, but I'm just not impressed by The Miz, and I probably never will be, unfortunately. So, but I guess we'll see where this goes. But yeah, so anyways, that's it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.